Հանուն եւ Որդու եւ Ոգուն Սրբու Amen. Dear faithful, I'm Dernestes Manugyan, coming to you today from St. Gregory's Church of Philadelphia. One of the joys we lost in this COVID-19 pandemic era, I think, is the excitement of receiving an invitation, whether it is for a cookout at friend's house, or a wedding, or baptism, or any kind of party we used to have. Of course, as human beings, we expect nothing but fun and enjoyment. Allow me to introduce to you today another invitation coming to you from Christ and is delivered to us by his disciple Matthew. And the invitation says, "Come to me, all who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest." This sounds good, right? Especially after a long week of hard work and labor, the word rest soothes your soul, and you cannot wait to rest in the company of Christ. But not so fast. Continue reading the rest of the invitation, which goes, "Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light." Strange paradox, isn't it? That a man already weary and overloaded must take a new weight upon him in order to be eased and find rest. What Jesus is saying is that when he invites you, he expects that you work for him. And when you work for him, then you will find a true rest and serenity. You will experience a satisfaction which will permeate your life and will be a source of a permanent peace. Dear faithful, in the company of Jesus, the rules are different from those we ordinarily think of. This is what he teaches us. To gain something, you should be ready to lose first. He says in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 10, "Those who find their life will lose it, and those who lose their life for my sake will find it." Or, in order to receive something, you need to give first. Give, and it will be given to you, he says in the Gospel of Luke. Or do you wish to be considered great? Then you need to be lowly and be ready to wash other people's feet. He says in Mark, "Whoever wishes to become great among you must be your servant." And the best example we find at the end of Gospel of St. John, when Jesus asked Peter 3 times if he loves him, Peter responds, "Yes, Lord, you know that I do." Then Jesus says to Peter, "Go tend my sheep." Which is to say, if you want to show that you love me, you should be doing my work. Be a partner in my ministry. Yes, dear faithful, in the company of Christ, we are always invited to walk the walk. We need to be his active disciples. We need to be his hands and walk with his feet in our community, always carrying his disposition. One day, a friend of famous American writer Hemingway told him that he wished very badly to travel to Jerusalem and read the Sermon on the Mount aloud from the same mountain where Jesus delivered the sermon from. Hemingway gave his friend a strange look and said, "Why don't you stay in town and implement in your neighborhood what Jesus prescribed in the Sermon of the Mount?" So, dear faithful, before throwing around some verses from the Gospels, try to implement them in your community first. Do not show off your Bible knowledge, but demonstrate your image of servitude. Take wings from Christ and fly out of your egocentric world and find yourself another kind of rest which comes through serving others, empathizing with those who suffer, giving a voice to those who cannot be heard, and being a point of hope to those who are stranded on a blockaded roadway, always remembering this warning of the same Christ who invited us to join him. And I quote, "He who does not take his cross and follow me is not worthy of me." Havidianus, Havidenis, Amen.